everybody, so great to see you again in one of my English classes. So today we're going to talk about superlatives. In my last video we talked about comparative forms, okay, majority comparatives and equality comparatives and minority comparatives, okay, and I repeated more than once that comparative forms were concerning, and also in this case the adjective or the adverb. But in the comparative forms, they were used in order to compare, okay, two elements, only two elements. These two elements could be on the same level as, beautiful as, okay, or one of the two, okay, the first element could be on a higher level, most interesting than, or on a lower level, less interesting than, okay, but they were always two elements. When there is just one element, which is the most something, which is absolutely something, okay, compared to the world, okay, or compared eventually to a group or a place or a period of time or whatever, in this case we have a superlative. The superlative can have an absolute exception, and in this case we can use just very before the adjective, very beautiful, very interesting, very boring, very fast, very slow, very cheap, very expensive, or whatever. Or most eventually, in this case they are synonyms, okay? Most interesting, most I don't know, most boring, most necessary, most whatever, okay? But let's see now how we form, okay, the superlative forms, okay, of adjectives and adverbs, and how can we eventually try to put a limit to this superlative element, okay, when we have, for example, a group or just a limited situation in which the superlative is expressed. So I used the same example that I had written for the comparative lesson. So this is not because I'm lacking fantasy, okay, not that much anyway, it's just because it's easier for you to compare the forms and eventually try to find out the differences. It's easier to spot, okay, the differences here. So this car, okay, first element, which is the only element now, okay, is the verb the cheapest or the most expensive. Alright, so we have this element, which is the only one, the verb, the article the. I think I've emphasized it enough. What do you think? Okay, the article is compulsory, okay? This is a very common mistake, especially for foreign speakers, okay, for non-native speakers, okay? Many times we tend to think about the forms, how we have to form the adjective or the adverb, whatever, and we forget about the article, which is absolutely important. Then, talking about the adjective, we follow here exactly the same rules as in comparative forms, okay? So if you have studied them, you can use them here again. They're absolutely the same. Okay, so this is quite easy. The only thing is that the suffix changes, okay, the words change, but the grammar rule is exactly the same. In fact, so the first form, cheapest, the cheapest in this case, suffix est, okay, it was er, okay, in the majority comparative, now it is est, and it is used for, again, for short adjectives or adverbs. Again, what is a short adjective? Short adjective, sorry, is a one-syllable word. Cheap, the cheapest. Fast, the fastest. And, oh, remember that if you have a final consonant, you have to put two of them, okay, a double consonant at the end. So if you have hot, it becomes hottest, okay, double T, est. Same goes for the comparative anyway. Then, so for one syllable adjectives or verbs, or eventually for two syllables, okay, with the ending in y, okay, with a y at the end, as in the adjective easy, okay? I can say the easiest, no problems. On the other side, I can use the most and then the adjective, so the most expensive, as in this case, the most interesting, the most necessary, the most clever, the most, I don't know what, okay? When I have longer adjectives or adverbs, longer than one syllable, obviously, okay? So, or eventually also for two syllables ending in Y, I can pick one or the other, it's the same, one form or the other, I can use both, okay? Obviously, also in this case, I've got irregular forms, the same adjectives, okay, that were irregular in the comparative comparatives are irregular also in the superlatives. So, good becomes the best, bad becomes the worst. Pay attention to the spelling here. You don't have to make confusion, okay, between worse, okay, which was the comparative, and the worst, okay, with the final T, okay. With the superlatives here, we've got always the final T, so this is very superlative. So the worst, then far becomes the farthest, sorry. When we talked about the comparatives, you remember, we said that we had two different words, two different spellings. So we had farthest with the U and farthest with, sorry, we had farther with the U or farther with the A, okay, for comparatives, majority comparatives. For superlatives, as in this case, we have just one possible spelling form, which is farthest with the U, no A, okay, no A, it's impossible. Then again, oldest, the oldest and the eldest. Same goes, it's the same, exactly the same as in the comparative form, older and elder. I use eldest, the eldest, and also elder in that case, only for people, for persons, and especially when I compare or talk about them in a family or in a group, okay? In all other cases I use old, so older for the comparative and the oldest for the superlative. Now, this is fine, perfect, we can form the superlatives here without any problems or mistakes, but as I told you before, I may need, okay, to put a limit, okay, to express a group or period of time, okay, in which my element, okay, is, okay, and I say that he is the most something just in that group, in that place, in that period. So which prepositions shall we use? We use in when I talk about places, organization, or groups of people. Let's make a few examples, okay? So places. He is the most, I know, the most, I was about to say the most clever politician in Italy, but honestly, I think that it's a nonsense. I'm Italian, it was just a little joke, okay? Or anyway, it's the most beautiful lake in Italy, okay? It's the most beautiful in Italy, okay? It's a place. Then an organization or a group of people, it could be a team, a class, okay? He is the most boring in the class, okay? Or he is the most, I know, the most funny in our team, okay? So this is a group of people. But if I'm talking about if I talk about a period of time, I shall use of. That was the best trip of my life, the best moment of my life. It was the best employer, okay, of the year. We can hear that a lot, of the year. He was one of the most representative writers of the century, okay, of the Victorian age. It was one of the coldest days of the season. Okay, it's a period of time. Fine. So I think this is all for now. Okay, I think I've told you almost everything about superlatives, but if you have any questions or if you have any doubts, just leave me a comment, just ask me whatever you want me to say, okay? And if you enjoyed the video, please like it, please share, subscribe, and thank you so very much for watching. See you very, very soon again with English grammar. Bye!